Hello, and welcome to another Tech Articles. In this hopefully relatively quick video, we're going to look at SureCart, and it's to answer a question from the Facebook group. And this question was about checkout meta. So you can add custom fields to your SureCart checkout. And in this particular example, and in this workflow, we're going to use date of birth because that's what the question was about. And we're going to actually put it all in motion. And currently I have a site here with a few things installed. We'll be using WP Codebox. You could use Fluent Snippets, or you could even use functions.php to store your files. And we've got SureCart, and that's pretty much all we're going to be using here. So the advantage of SureCart, and I've said this many times, is that it's relatively WordPress native. And that means its products, its checkout data, the way it works is WordPress friendly. It's based on that basic stuff like posts and postmeta, which means you can do a lot with it. It also has some really useful hooks, filters that you can use for customization, as well as a very generous API. And we're going to use a action hook that we've used before, and that's checkout confirmed. But we're also going to do a bit of validation, etc., as we go through this. And while I'm not going to go into too much detail about what the code does, how the code works, I have done that in the article. I've broken it up into little steps so you can pick which bits you want, as well as the full code that I've used in this video. So my store is set up. I've got a few products. It's my standard demo store. Currently my snippet is disabled. It is not a very large snippet. It's only a few hundred lines. And the first place we're going to go is to users. I only have me on here. And this is the important bit. There is no date of birth currently available within this user meta. You can see that here. And what we're going to do is we're going to enable that snippet, which will automatically add one down here. It won't populate it, but it will add it. And we can then edit it and save it as part of that snippet. So I'm going to open that snippet here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to enable this. And if we go back to our profile and refresh our page, we now get a date of birth option here. So we now have date of birth, and you'll see here it's using the meta key DOB. So that's what's being stored in the user meta. And in this example, that's exactly what we're going to do. Everything will be DOB. So the next thing we need to do is edit our checkout. And for anyone that hasn't done this before, it's relatively easy. I'm going to modify my main checkout. You could just modify a checkout form and use that for the product that you want date of birth for. But in this case, and in the example given, they wanted date of birth across the piece. So that is what we're going to do. So first of all, I'm going to modify this checkout form, and I'm going to do this relatively quickly. I'm going to put it straight after full name here, and I'm just going to go add after, and I'm just going to put text field in here. And you'll see here we have a text field. So we now have our text field, and what we want to do is we want to make this required. It has to be DOB because what the code is looking for. We'll call it when's your birthday. And we'll just put an example in here. Now I'm based in the UK, and I'm going to use the UK as an example. And I have in the demo code, I have also allowed you to switch to US or ISO, depending on what you want to do. So I'm going to put the 25th of the 12th, 1956. And I'm just going to push save as an example. So you can see here now it says, when's your birthday, i.e. 25th of December, 1956. And I've made it a required field because we want everybody to have to submit this. And I'm just going to save my checkout form. And that is that done. Now, if we go back over to our WP Codebox, you'll see here we've got a checkout confirmed. And what this is going to do is it's going to pull through the metadata, and it's going to look for a metadata called DOB. Now, if we go back to our checkout, you can see our metadata field is DOB. And that is where you would change it, as well as all of the rest of that bit around the meta fields if you were using it for something different, and it can be used for other stuff. Now, as well as checkout confirmed and a few other bits and pieces here to standardize and normalize stuff, I've also added some validation. Now, SureCart allows you to validate what people put, and the example they give, and to me it's a really good example, is asking people what their age is and testing if they are above or below an age. Or you could even do that by calculating from date of birth. If you took this date of birth, you could modify their snippet and change that to verify for their age. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to validate here that the date of birth is in the correct format and it's correct. And if not, the order will not be able to proceed. So we are ready to check. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my products in SureCart. And these are a standard product. I've not done anything to the products. I'm just going to take this one here. And I'm going to buy it now. And we'll go to our checkout page. And you'll see straight away that we have our new checkout page. And the first thing I'm going to do here is take our example and put 88 in the middle and push purchase. Now, all being well, it will fail validation, which it has done. It says, please enter your date of birth as year, month, day, day, month, year, or month, day, year. So my example, I've gone with the UK. I'm going to use my example, but I'm going to change the month to the 1st. And like so, I'm going to push my purchase. And you'll see that it checks out as normal. My checkout's completed, and if I was to now go over to my profile and refresh, you'll see here I now have a meta date with 25/01/1956 in it, which is exactly what we entered at checkout. So that's how you grab your checkout meta and stick it into a user meta. The article goes into more details about what each bit of code does. You don't actually need all of this code. If you don't need to see it in the back end, there's a whole piece of code you don't need. If you only need it to be there, you don't need to see it because you're going to reference it programmatically, then actually you don't need to have it in the metadata. But thanks to the way SureCart works, we've been able to grab that data, pull it out, extract it, put it into our database as a user meta key, all without an automator. There was no ottokit here, used no Flowmatic, no bit flows, nothing. Just a small amount of PHP. We've grabbed the checkout data, we've scrolled through it, and we've added it to our user meta. Thanks for watching.